Good afternoon, YouTubers. Welcome to Double Clutch Auto Reviews. Thank you for tuning in for another video. My name is Mark, and today I have my buddy Eric's brand new 2020 Chevy Silverado LT Crew Cab All-Star Edition. This will be the first 2020 vehicle that I've ever reviewed or even driven. And before I start this review, I just have to say thank you so much to all my subscribers. I now have over 100 subscribers. This is amazing. Thank you all so much for the support. I really appreciate it. So throughout this review, I'll be comparing this truck to my buddy Jesse's 2019 Ram Rebel 1500 that I reviewed last year, just to give you guys a comparison of two trucks that are from different manufacturers but also around the same price range. Eric's 2020 Silverado is the LT All-Star Edition, which is about right smack dab in the middle of the 8 levels of trim that the Silverado comes in. And the MSRP for the Silverado's trim levels range from about the mid-20s for the base model work truck regular cab, all the way up to well over $60K for the high country diesel Duramax. This particular model came in just over $50,000 sticker price. This new generation Silverado debuted in 2019, and it had a lot of updates from the previous generation. The new generation Silverado has a longer wheelbase, a wider and taller stance, and a lot more cargo room. The new generation Silverado is also up to 450 pounds lighter than the previous generation, due to Chevy making the hood, the doors, and the tailgate aluminum. Chevy also made the frame 10% more rigid, yet it's 88 pounds lighter. There's also a lot of functional aerodynamics on this truck. There's functional air ducts on the front bumper that actually direct air around the wheel well for better aerodynamics. Also, that little spoiler on the roof in the back actually directs air over the tailgate and creates less drag, getting better fuel economy. So now let's take a look at the exterior styling and some of the features that the Silverado has. Overall, I really do think this is a handsome truck. At first, this body style didn't really appeal to me. I actually like the previous generation styling a little bit better, but the more and more I look at this truck and the more models I see out on the road, it's actually really grown on me. Especially with this trim that Eric got with the chrome accents and the LED lighting up front. It really ties it all together, really complements the look. Especially with this nice jet black paint, I really think it all comes together quite well. This truck comes with the 18-inch wheels. They're not bad looking wheels, but they're not very easy to clean. They have this lip going around the whole rim that's right behind the spokes, which is really annoying to try to get to. Just kind of a pain in the butt if you're trying to keep your wheels clean. Moving up front, obviously the first thing you notice is the newly designed front end for the Chevy Silverado. Some of the other trims have the Chevrolet font embossed on the front grille, which I think is cool. It gives it a unique look. However, in this trim, I really do like the chrome piece going across the whole grille. It really looks clean, simple, sleek. You also notice the functional air curtains right here on the front bumper. You can actually see right through them in this shot. As you can see, it also has tow hooks up front, and there's a little plastic piece that comes down below the front bumper. This is put here to get better aerodynamics and fuel economy on the highway. You'll notice that this truck has that, but Jesse's did not, because this is the off-roading trim. This truck wasn't designed with that piece there, and he has a skid plate instead under the front of the engine. By doing so, he sacrifices a little bit of aerodynamics for more ground clearance and more protection while off-roading. Taking a look under the hood, this Chevy Silverado has the 5.3 liter V8, making 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission and 4-wheel drive. It seems pretty simply laid out, not too much plastic going on, and for a modern truck it still seems like there's a little bit of room to work on it in here. If you wanted to modify it, I don't know how much room you would have to fit anything else under here, but I'm sure you could figure it out. Moving on to the rear, you can't help but notice the Chevrolet logo embossed into the tailgate, which gives it a nice bold look. This truck also has the gently lowering tailgate, as you can see. And if you don't feel like reaching up and pushing the button to lower the tailgate, you can just hit this button twice on the remote, automatically pops down for you. And the newly designed Silverado has larger bumper steps, so climbing in and out of the tailgate is no problem. The bed also has more room than the previous generation. This truck also has LED bed lighting in each of the corners right in the back and at the top of the center of the spoiler. And to turn the bed lighting on and off, you just hit the switch right here. I'm sure it's very useful at night when you're loading things in and out of the truck. The dealership also hooked Eric up with a Rhino bed liner and this rubber mat for double the bed protection, and this nice foldable tonneau cover. The bed also has 12 tie-down hooks, 3 in each corner, which is class leading. Makes it very convenient to tie down cargo back here. And there's also a 120 volt outlet back here, which could come in handy. The tailgate is super light. I mean, this thing is just so easy to put away. This LT All-Star Edition comes with the trailering package. With that, you obviously get the trailer hitch, as well as hitch guidance and trailer braking control, which I'll show you later in the interior. And right here, you also get the 4-pin and 7-pin connections. So something funny that I found when I was putting gas in the truck, you can see there's a little sticker on the inside of the fuel door. I guess this is saying, hey, just in case you don't know how to fill your truck up with gas, you don't stick it halfway out, you actually stick the whole nozzle in. Thanks, GM. Good to know. All right, climbing on into the interior of the 2020 Chevy Silverado. First thing you'll notice is there's tons of room everywhere you want. Tons of headroom, tons of leg room, there's room everywhere. Very spacious and comfortable in here. What's funny about this interior is usually in every single car I get into to drive, I like to lower the seat down as far as it can go all the way to the floor. However, in this truck, they designed it with so much room all the way around that I actually feel more comfortable with lifting the seat up a little bit. The dash profile and the hood profile is pretty high, and it's actually more comfortable for me to sit up a little bit so I have better control over the steering wheel. It's quite funny. It's not usual for me, but something to note about this truck. Quite a lot of room, especially if you're a bigger person. And something else to note when you immediately climb in, every door has a grab handle. So if this truck's a little harder for you to get into because it's higher off the ground than like a normal car, those grab handles should suffice to give you enough help to pull yourself in and get into the truck, no problem. You'll notice that the interior trim pieces in the dashboard are rather basic looking, nothing too fancy about it. However, the buttons and switches seem to be ergonomically set up. Everything seems to be laid out in a user-friendly manner. The climate controls are simply laid out, easy to read and ergonomic to use. The touchscreen is also easy to reach, no problem there. The gauge cluster has mostly analog gauges with a little digital screen in the center. That's perfectly fine, back to basics. This truck also comes with heated seats up front, and you can choose between having only the back of the seat heated or the back and the bottom of the seat heated with these two buttons right here. Right down here is your trailer braking control switch, which is conveniently placed and easy to use just in front of your right hand. There's also two USB ports up here, an SD drive, a 12-volt outlet, and a 120-volt outlet. And now moving on to the infotainment system, this Silverado LT trim comes with the 8-inch touchscreen standard. It's actually quite responsive to your touch. Apparently it's much more responsive than the previous generation's touchscreen. The screen is ergonomically set up as well. It's relatively easy to scroll through and select what you want to get to. There's really not too much else that's super exciting or interesting about this infotainment system. Most of it's pretty standard, except for a couple of things I'd like to show you. First, you go to the main screen and swipe over and click on camera. This brings up your rear view camera. As you can see here, these lines are set up so you can angle the truck perfectly when you want to park into a parking spot. However, you can click this center button right here and you can see that little line. That actually allows you to perfectly line up a trailer hitch when you're hooking up a trailer. And even better yet, you click on this right button right here and you can actually see directly over your trailer hitch. It's kind of hard to see in this shot. I'll try to get the best angle I can, but you see right there, that's Eric's trailer hitch. How cool is that? You can angle it right over the top of it to get the perfect mount all by yourself. And secondly, I have to show you the teen driver mode that you can have set up in here. This is quite hilarious to me, but it's actually a very neat feature. I'm sure many parents would really like this. You go into settings, go into vehicle, select teen driver. You enter in your PIN. For example, I'm just gonna put 1111. And here you go, you have your teen driver main screen. Check out the report card. You can actually see the maximum speed that your kid was driving, how many times they went over the speed limit, how many times they went wide open throttle. I mean, this is hilarious. And of course you can see the miles driven. I mean, there really is no way that your kid can lie to you and get away with it now about where they took the truck or how fast they were going. You could set the audio volume limit. You could set the driver's speed limiter, driver's speed warning. I mean, this is quite remarkable. And then back in the main screen, you can also change the pin, set up new keys, or clear all the keys. This truck also has a power rear window and the switch is right here on the top, which I'll show you now. Very nice. This truck also tells you the engine hours, total and idling, which is pretty cool. And if it's cold outside, there's a little ice indicator warning that pops up on the dash when you start the truck. Thank you, GM, for caring about my safety. This truck also has a rear seat reminder feature, you know, in case you forget about your children. I cannot forget to mention that the driver's seat has lumbar support. It's hard to see on the camera, but trust me, you can sure feel it. It's very nice. And there's not too much else that's particularly exciting or extravagant about this interior. However, I'd like to say my favorite part about this truck is the abundance of storage space. I really do love this center console. When you have it down, you have a good storage spot for your phone or other various items, as well as two cup holders. You can also lift this up and have a decent sized storage bin under there. Or you could pull this little lever right here, designed for you to grab it and pull the seat right up. And now it turns into a bench seat. I don't know why every automatic pickup truck doesn't have a bench seat. It's so practical and usable to have a 6-passenger vehicle that you can also configure right back into a captain style chair. I mean, why wouldn't you have this? It's not like I need room for a gear lever right here on the floor that would get in the way of the center console. The gear selector is up here, it's a column shifter. So you have all this extra room when you have a bench seat. I personally think that every automatic pickup truck should have a configuration like this. With the LT trim, you also get extra storage space under here. Just pull this lever and the seat pops right up and you have a second storage bin underneath. But as you can see, when the center console piece is up, the seat's locked in place. But if you want to unlock it, you just pull this little lever, seat unlocks, you just pull it right back down. Truck also has 2 glove boxes, as you can see, which have plenty of room. And this truck total has 4 USB ports, 2 12-volt outlets, 2 120-volt outlets, and 10 cup holders overall for 6 passengers. 6 up front and 4 in the back. And now before I climb in, I have to point out, look how wide this door opens. Chevy designed this really well and made it very easy for you to load and unload cargo back here. They had a lot of ergonomics and practicality in mind when designing this truck. And now climbing in, you can't help but notice, look how much legroom I have. I mean, this is amazing. I know this is the crew cab model, but I mean, look at this. I can practically lie down back here. This generation Silverado has 3 more inches of legroom than the previous generation. I mean, look how much space I have. This is awesome. I'd have no problem spending a whole day back here on a long road trip. This is great. And what's new for this generation Silverado, they put in rear climate control vents. They also have 2 USB ports and a 12-volt outlet for rear seat passengers. There's also a center armrest that has 2 cup holders, which is very nice and convenient. This is very comfortable back here. Absolutely would have no problem spending a lot of time back here. And now climbing back out, I'll show you that the rear seats fold up, and you can also have even that much more storage space back here. You can fold both of these seats up, and now you could fit even larger cargo items back here if you wanted to. And to put them back down, you just give them a little yank and they come right back down. And last but not least, I have to mention the little secret storage compartments in both of the back seats. I mean, these tabs kind of give it away, but you just pull on this little tab right here and voila, you can easily store a few items back there. I mean, this is the perfect spot for Eric to keep his cocaine. I mean, all right, now let's take this 2020 Chevy Silverado out on the road and see how it drives. All right, now we're behind the wheel of the 2020 Chevy Silverado LT All-Star Edition. The steering's very light, it's very comfortable in here. In comparison to the Ram feels more rigid and more off-road capable, it really does. However, this truck feels like a better daily driver, commuter, more family-oriented truck. That's just my opinion when I first jump in it and drive it around. The V8 sounds good, it's got good power. We're going over some big bumps right now. You feel them, but it eats them up pretty well. Overall, a very comfortable truck. The suspension and overall ride quality of these modern trucks really is leaps and bounds ahead of the trucks of yesteryear. There's tons of visibility. Visibility is no problem. These huge mirrors, I can see everything behind me. There's really not too bad of blind spots. I can turn over my shoulder and pretty much see everything. Chevy did a really good job with designing the visibility in this truck. The Silverado LT All-Star Edition also has the available to be equipped with OnStar and onboard Wi-Fi. Eric doesn't have it because it's about $30 a month for the subscription, but still it's a pretty cool feature if you want it. This car also has a heated steering wheel. Obviously can't go wrong with that in the winter months. And the steering wheel does get very warm, by the way. It really works well. All right, here we go. First dig in the Chevy Silverado. Wow. Damn. I just laid down some rubber. Whew. Man. It's got good pickup for a pickup. So now we're getting on the highway. Acceleration is very smooth. The 8-speed downshifts quickly, very responsive. Acceleration is smooth with this delivery. There is a little bit of wind noise, but when riding around town, I noticed it's very quiet. I would have no problem taking this truck on a long road trip. I could see it being very well suited for that. It also has that nice new car smell. While we were at work when Eric first got this truck, Eric and Paul and I affectionately named this truck Serena. Eric said it's very serene when riding on the highway. He says he's on the highway, he doesn't even realize how fast he's going. You feel very removed from the road when you're driving this truck. The driving position, it's got a good commanding feel. He used to drive a 2016 Wrangler with 35-inch tires on it. It makes a world of difference. He says the difference is night and day. He's used to hearing the tire whine whoa down the road. This truck, you can definitely hear a little bit of wind noise. But other than that, you do feel very removed from the road. I really do like it. Very relaxing drive. The fuel economy is also rated at 16 miles per gallon city, 22 miles per gallon highway, and 18 average overall. Chevy's newly designed 5.3 liter V8 is also equipped with the dynamic fuel management system. So if you're on the highway, for instance, and the engine doesn't need all of its cylinders to pull the truck and whatever you're towing or whatever you have in the back forward, it can cut fuel to all but 2 cylinders. So you can have 2 cylinders powering this engine forward in an attempt to get better fuel economy. I honestly don't know if I'm a big fan of this. I mean, to only get 22 miles per gallon out of that dynamic fuel management system, to me, I don't know if it's really worth it. I mean, yeah, it's probably better than having a V8 all the time using all the cylinders and using the maximum amount of fuel. But to be honest, I've heard of horror stories in the past of Chevy's cylinder deactivation systems. I've heard of them having catastrophic failures. You know what? To be honest, I'd rather just keep it as a V8 all the time. That to me seems to be more reliable of a setup. This truck sure is comfortable, I can't get over it. Seems to be a very well-rounded truck as far as versatility, practicality, and comfort goes. Comparing this interior to the Ram Rebel, I honestly think the Ram's interior is a more special place to spend time. This truck's interior is more spacious, yet it's a little bit more basic and utilitarian. The Ram's interior isn't as spacious, but it has a lot more features and a lot more luxurious design touches. I also have to mention the column shifter. It feels very tight and solid when you're putting it into gear. All right, giving it a good pull on the highway. Oh yeah, you do not feel like you're going as fast as you do. I promise you that. And of course, this truck has dual zone climate controls. The infotainment system's very user-friendly, ergonomic, very responsive to your touch. I think my favorite part about this truck is all the storage space. There's so much storage space in here, it's great. And this V8 acceleration, this truck's actually pretty fast. It actually feels faster than the Ram, which is surprising because the Ram has more power and it's a bigger engine, but this truck really puts down the power well, it does. It's got good, stout, brawny acceleration. That's the best way I would describe it. The steering wheel controls are fine. You can use them to scroll through the little center screen and whatnot. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. Cruise controls on the left side of the steering wheel. Easy to set. Just push the button right here, that sets it. Pretty easy, straightforward. The steering wheel feels nice in your hands. It's leather wrapped, so it's got a good feel to it. Sound system in here also doesn't sound too bad. Yeah, it's no aftermarket setup, but for stock, it's really not bad. Another neat feature about the infotainment system is you can go in and check your brake pad life. I'm assuming there's some kind of indicators for the wear on the brake pads, and the sensor can show you how much brake life you have left. That's a really cool feature. So apparently, because I called Eric on my phone to let him know that I was bringing his truck back to him soon, my microphone cut out when it went into Apple CarPlay, so I apologize, I no longer have any audio for the rest of the video. This is probably for the better though, since you don't have to listen to my voice much longer then. So I'll wrap it up with that I took it on a curvy back road, and this truck has body roll for days. It handles corners as you would expect a full-size pickup would. Overall, it is a very comfortable and practical work truck / daily driver. In direct comparison to Jesse's 2019 Ram Rebel, I think you get a lot more for your money with the Ram when you stack them up side by side at only a $2,000 difference in MSRP. The Ram Rebel has a much more opulent and sharp-looking interior with many more creature comfort features, including heated and cooled seats, adjustable pedals, etc. The Ram Rebel is also geared more towards off-roading, so it is more capable in that aspect. The Silverado LT seems to be more of a utilitarian, work-oriented, or family man's pickup truck. I also forgot to mention that the max payload of the 2020 Silverado 1500 is about 2,000 pounds, and the max towing with the 5.3-liter V8 is about 12,000 pounds, which is essentially equal to the Ram. The value still doesn't stack up in my opinion when they are asking $50,000 for this vehicle. However, Eric did not buy this truck, he leased it. Given that fact, Eric may have gotten a lot of rebates and deals off the sticker price of this truck if he bought it. If this truck was marketed around the high $30,000 or low $40,000 range, I think this would be an excellent full-size pickup truck for the money. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a great day. Peace. Just to give you guys a comparison of two trucks that are in the same, just to give you guys a comparison of two trucks that are in the same class. Just to give you guys some, just to give you guys a comparison of two trucks. Just a guy. Just so I could just. The first is you can go into the main screen and go to the camera button, which brings up your rear view camera, where you see rolling trash in the background. This is put here to get better. This is put here to get better air. This is put here to get better. This is put here to get better back seats. You pull on this little tab. Little tab. This Band-Aid. No, I'm not gonna touch it. Are you recording? No. No, just don't touch it. It's gross. Leave it. Leave it. Go away. No, just go over there. Please, no, go. Ew.